We often discuss that strategy is so important in a triple threat match. To emerge victorious, a superstar must be able to seize opportunity. That could include letting an opponent do all the work and beating down the other participant, and then coming in to reap the benefits.
A lot of times, the smart move in a match like this is to sit back in the weeds. Let the other two superstars tear each other apart. Let's see if we get any of that here tonight.
Oh, what a forearm!
That was dirty. This might be it.
Oh, my. Oof.
And then...
Oh, nasty impact.
Tying up the legs now. Oh, looking for the surfboard. Oh, face first.
Good night.
Look out, guys. Standing sea fire.
Oh, man. There can be so many combustible elements in a triple threat match. A superstar must keep in mind the no count-out stipulation can mean that the match is going to be fought in every possible location. All that matters is when it's time to go for a pinfall or submission, the participants have to be in the ring.
Oh, guys, there's the slam.
We've witnessed on a number of occasions the personal issues between competitors forcing the match to overflow into the crowd, up the ramp, or in the locker room. In a triple threat, there are no countouts and no disqualifications, so it's essential for the superstar to remain composed enough to remember that the match must end in the ring.
Facts like that are not always easy to remember when a superstar is so focused on destroying their opponents. In a triple threat match, a competitor must take advantage of the no countout and no disqualification stipulations. They must also remind themselves that when it's time to put someone away, it must take place in the ring, not on the outside.
I spoke to Sasha Banks after she participated in Abu Dhabi's first ever women's match, and she was overwhelmed with emotion. But what touched her the most were the crowd's chants of, "This is hope."
Reflecting on your conversation with Sasha Banks, Byron, Sasha feels she has a responsibility to empower women all over the globe to find the boss in themselves.
Yeah, you know what? I'll hand it to Sasha Banks. She finally humbled herself enough to allow one night not to be all about her.
At 2016's Clash of Champions, it was another classic triple threat match for the Raw Women's Championship. It was Bayley versus the boss, Sasha Banks, versus the champion, Charlotte Flair. The match started out more like a singles match between the boss and the queen. Bayley learned very quickly it was every woman for herself.
The triple threat match for the Raw Women's Championship was another example of the incredible competition between the female superstars of WWE. Charlotte was physically dominant and fighting off the challenges of Bayley and Sasha Banks. At one point, the Queen even landed a moonsault on both their opponents at the same time, but the boss and Bayley put it all on the line and kept fighting.
There were several near pinfalls during this battle, but in the end, as it should be, the Queen exhibited her genetic superiority by fighting off both her challengers. After drilling Bayley with a boot to the face, the Queen pinned the hugger and retained her Raw Women's Championship.
It's always important to get off to a strong start in a match. It's even more important to do that in a triple threat match, given that you're going up against two opponents at the same time. Add to that the no disqualification stipulation, and there's little to no room for error. One mistake, and it can cost you a lot more than winning the match.
Byron, you spoke about this before. A competitor must do everything they can do to start things off on the right foot in a triple threat match. One way to do that is to target one of your opponents and go after them as soon as the bell rings. You're battling two opponents at the same time, so it's hunt or be hunted.
And that's what I like, Michael. It's survival of the fittest in that ring. In a triple threat, a superstar can't waste time feeling opponents out, getting warmed up, or easing their way into the match. You have to go at it as soon as the match begins.
It's stunning to see how many highlights Sasha Banks has created. Her WWE career only spans a few short years, but she's already had many history-making moments. She's got her where she wants her.
Ooh! Beautiful technique.
You gotta believe this one's over. You're right, Michael, in saying Sasha Banks has made history in WWE. First women's Iron Man match, first woman to compete inside Hell in a Cell, and first woman to wrestle in Abu Dhabi.
Yeah, those are all well and good, guys, but at the end of each of those matches, she just added another big fat L in the record books.
Such a negative human being.
Looks like she's starting to stumble a bit. She definitely doesn't want to absorb much more punishment if she wants to be successful here tonight.
She's absolutely off her game now, guys. You know, being in the ring with two other women has a way of doing that to a superstar.
The great thing about our fans is they have the right to cheer or boo for whoever they want, but the amount of hatred I've heard directed at Lita can be downright vulgar.
Lita has been in volatile situations where the crowd has resorted to calling her despicable names. The usually focused Lita becomes unhinged and doesn't know how to handle disrespect from the WWE Universe.
You two bringing up what fans have called Lita only reminds me of how Lita doesn't care what some idiots in the crowd have to say about her.
I don't think she deserves that sort of treatment either, Corey, but I have seen it become a distraction for Lita. Maybe that's something her opponent can take advantage of.
Talking with Candice earlier, she half-joked that her biggest challenge is keeping up with her husband, Johnny Gargano.
Forget about Johnny wrestling. Let's talk about Candice wrestling. I commend Candice LeRae for clearly being the one that wears the pants in their relationship. She's talking about not wanting to be an embarrassment to Johnny. She should be more concerned with Johnny being an embarrassment to her.
Why do you say these things?
Because it's the truth.
Corey, you just suggested that Larae should remove herself, at least professionally, from her husband. Byron, do you feel that's the way for Candice to prove herself to her peers?
Well, Candice has already stated that she refuses to ride her husband's coattails. I believe Candice LeRae has earned her success all on her own.
I finally found out why Sasha Banks wears those ridiculous glasses. When you spend that much time searching for a spotlight, it's hazardous to your eyesight.
Harsh impact.
You can feel however you like about Sasha's glasses, Corey, but when she hands them off to an excited kid in the audience, it means the world to that fan.
Yeah, Sasha Banks has no problem paying homage to the Hitman. And hey, maybe it'll inspire the recipient to become a WWE superstar one day.
What's your excuse for always sitting in the front row begging and waving?
And it's homage, not homage.
Oh, no! Someone call the orthodontist. Nailed it.
Elbow drop.
Piercing. That's what you call a bad landing. Lita got the wrestling bug after watching Rey Mysterio. This natural...
Lita staying on the attack.
Boom! Reverse twist of fate.
But is it enough to propel Lita to victory? Such incredible impact. Ooh, what impact.
And she's toying with her now. Boom, what impact.
You gotta believe this one's over.
To elaborate on Lita's training from Mexico, she's the first to do so many things in the ring that no other female had ever done before, and she wasted no time showing off her skills.
Lita's debut to the WWE Universe is a perfect synopsis to her career. When S.A. Rios performed a moonsault, Lita was right there to do the same and prove whatever the men can do, women can do too.
Lita.
Reverse twist of fate. She's back in full control now.
Lita is really applying pressure now, guys.
Some superstars who have competed in a triple threat match feel it's a good idea to have both a finishing move that brings you to a pinfall attempt on your opponent and a submission move that can make your opponent tap out. Given the chaotic and unpredictable nature of a triple threat, that sounds like a good plan to me.
Byron, before you mention the strategy some superstars have implemented for competing in a triple threat match, and that includes having a finishing maneuver to put someone away for the 1-2-3 and a submission to make them tap out. There are many superstars in WWE who can do just that, which makes them even more dangerous to opponents.
The way I look at it is you can never have enough weapons at your disposal, especially in something like a triple threat match. If a superstar can defeat someone by pinfall and submission, to me, they increase their chances of victory in a match where the odds are against them to begin with.
A longtime revolutionary of the women's wrestling scene, Candice LeRae is known for not being intimidated by opponents of any shape or size. She has even taken on the likes of Kevin Owens and Cesaro. She's countering nicely now.
Yeah, a second ago, she was almost done. Lita got out of there in time.
Not so fast.
What a hurricanrana! As Michael pointed out earlier, Candice LeRae has found herself.
Solid contact from Candice LeRae.
Game, set, match. This one is over.
She got the shoulder up in time.
Well, Lita is in the Hall of Fame for a reason. Showed great heart and strength here.
What a stomp.
Good grief.
Got the reversal. Gentlemen, we've seen Sasha Banks take some nasty falls on her back. She even had to take some time off in 2016 because of it.
Everyone in the women's division knows Sasha's back is a potential weakness.
Lita in a very precarious position, guys.
Moonsault. Now it's time.
Look at it here.
This could be it.
Lita has been eliminated.
Working Sasha's back has been a proven method to victory. As you mentioned, Cole, Sasha took some time off in 2016 after a series of hellacious matches against Charlotte Flair.
Yeah, those matches